Good day, Dr. Bernard Moore. How you doing? You well? Listen, I say good day because you're in a different part of the world. Just for some of our viewers and listeners, help them to understand where you are exactly.
Well, first of all, it is still morning where I am in Los Angeles, California. Um, it's an honor to be um, interviewing or be talking with you this afternoon for you or evening. Um, I'm basically here to talk about Tal Jones' Black Oil Legacy. It's my great great grandfather, Tal Jones, who was born a slave um, in the mid 1800s in Texas, sold off at 7 um, to another slave owner, or or and Tal was emancipated in 1865 when the emancipation took place in the United States. From there, he went on to be a sharecropper from from emancipation all the way up to about 1924. While as a sharecropper on land that he was working, they gave him land that really didn't grow crops, and he made the best of it. And subsequently, it was a large oil pool. This took place in Wewoka, Oklahoma. Wewoka is in central Oklahoma. By 1926, he had one of the largest oil fields in central Oklahoma, which at that time, Oklahoma was the oil capital of the United States. Subsequently, then it became all types of legal battles. Um, in annexing his land by eminent domain. Attorneys that were representing him wind up stealing 20 acres of mineral rights. It just went on. It went all the way to the United States Supreme Court on 2 occasions. Subsequently, we are back in the U.S. Supreme Court with Sunoco Oil Company as a result of them skimming the residuals from the oil leases. And we've been fighting battles for more than 100 years in the U.S. federal court system. Um,
That's what struck me when I read, when I was privy to reading what I have done so far. It was that this is a century-long battle, which
yes.
you're carrying the torch for now. So I wondered, where did the fervor to take on the battle come from? What was it that triggered you enough to say, you know what, I have a duty as the great 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 grandson of to kind of continue this fight. What was the point?
Well, the, the fight began with my my mother. She inherited about 25 years ago a large portion of it, of the mineral rights, and subsequently that was a battle. It was a battle with the oil companies, several oil companies, as well as family members. Um, she passed away in 2017, and I had to learn what you call learning the oil business and learning the battles of the court system, because um, with with my with the attorney that I was working with, he was very experienced in oil, um, mineral rights, and natural gas. However, Sunoco's at- attorneys, they have more than 40 attorneys dealing with the case in Houston, in Austin, Texas, and Oklahoma City. So it was absolutely a large battle. And right now we're in a class action lawsuit. Um, and we won at the trial court level. The judge entered a judgment of $150 million to the class action uh, against Sunoco. And it went to the U.S. Supreme Court the first time, and the court affirmed the decision. And somehow we're now back at the Supreme Court. Uh, so it never stops um, with uh, this battle. Um, Professionally, I am a political strategist. I'm not an oil man. Um, my research and profession is in Black politics. I work with the Congressional Black Caucus um, for the past 10 years as a policy advisor for the 53 members, and as well as with President Obama um, during his term as a United States Senator. Um, but it is a battle, and it is a legacy for me with my family. Um, it's very important. And the story of my family, um, the oil certainly has brought on um, it is was a lifestyle change for my family back in the 1920s during Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Hmm.
It certainly um, made possible for that generation to achieve education. And then I had um, others in the family who were entrepreneurs that slightly different. They were bootleggers of liquor during Prohibition in this country, um, and did very well. Um, my mom left Oklahoma as a result of she wanted to get away from legal segregation, and she moved to California in 1950, and she did very successful. Aside from being, she originally came out to California and became a maid for June Lockhart, the mother and Lassie, and Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. With, and then later she became with the famous talent agency William Morris. She became in charge of Black entertainment.
Oh wow.
From there to a nightclub owner that resulted in Tina Turner, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, B.B. King, etc. And then the oil dropped in her lap. She inherited it from one of her great aunts, and the fight was on, and I was left with it. And I'm still fighting, and I will continue to fight with it.
I don't know if I haven't been told this. I'm asking. Have you got children?
Well, I don't have any children,
Right.
but I will uh, pass it on to one of my first cousins that her father was swindled out of the oil or of his mineral rights by another sibling of his. And so I just felt that since I have no kids, I will pass it on to her. And she has three children, and um, two of them are lawyers, and they will continue to fight on.
What's been the most intriguing aspect of unearthing, the history of your family? And you mentioned what you did prior, so I can see that you were well steeled to get down into the detail. But what's been the most important or surprising element of that journey?
The most important to me uh, is the heritage, how my great great grandfather was able to survive slavery, and how my grandfather, his Tal's son, and um, my mother's father, basically how they had to survive segregation, Jim Crow, um, and to arrive to where they got to, especially my mom today. Um, it has really enlightened me, and I feel very honored and privileged that uh, the life experience of my family has taken. My work with the Congressional Black Caucus and being a PhD from Howard University is very significant to me. Um, it really gives me a sense of belonging, especially in these times that um, the Donald Trump period, the the I would say right wing hate that is happening here in America and across Europe or wherever as a result of a new rise in um, fascism or etc. But it really gives me a sense of belonging and to be proud of my heritage, where that has that has taken me. Um, I I have did a postdoc in Black politics at Yale and at Oxford, at New College at Oxford. Um, my experience with the Tal Jones and my family heritage, when I was initially studying Black politics and focused in that research, I really never knew that the wealth of the of heritage that my family had, because it really wasn't never talked about. Um, it was just the elders dealt with and accepted whatever the oil companies paid out, and they were skimming millions of dollars over the
Yeah.
years. And it's just not my family, but it's many other families across Oklahoma and Texas that have, you know, that people have lost um, their mineral rights, and um, they have in Oklahoma and Texas something called quiet title. And someone can come and make a claim against your land and serve. If they can't find you, they claim they served you, and then they run an ad in a newspaper in a town of 400. And if you don't respond to it, they take your land. So it's all kinds of things that I look at that stem back with the Jim Crow period in this country, that Black people have lost so much, um, based on scrupulous lawyers, and it's just basically a race issue, um, here, uh, and it can still continues. Uh,
Mm. You got confidence that you're gonna win?
oh, I'm very confident in terms of, it just takes time. It really takes time. Um, I don't know if you ever heard of something called Bruce's Beach in California. There was
No.
a, a Black resort in the 1920s, or no, 1930s, that was on the beach. Uh, and they did an eminent domain. And now that particular land is worth like $20 million. And it was forced, the state was forced to have that property to return back to the original family. So it takes time. Um, California is a little different than most states, and Oklahoma is a place that is very difficult. Um, I'd say it's going to be a fight, and it'll continue to be a fight. And I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Black Wall Street.
Of course.
How,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I mean, it has a history of in its past, but you know, that's that's what the makeup of America.
Mm.
Uh, and I I am proud of my heritage, and I'll continue to fight. Uh, I don't know anything else to do. I won't give up.
The book, it's out later this year. It's going to be a
Yeah.
compelling read for
Oh,
those.
it certainly will
What?
be a compelling read.
Yeah. I mean, what? I guess my question is, what do you hope people get from the book once they've picked it up and finished it?
I think first and foremost is of of the genealogy behind it, because I go slightly deep into the family's roots in the 1800s and during slavery. And it's a lot of collaborated stories, oral history there. Also, that there, for those who were here, that a lot of people have the opportunity to make claims on things that they lost, particularly um, in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana, where there was an oil base, that a lot of um, African Americans' family had land, and people just took it. And some of the land has mineral rights. And now there's a new mineral right, um, the mineral that makes car batteries.
Lithium. Mm.
Yes, lithium, and it's scattered across the country here. And that's a new frontier in energy. So um, I don't think that, let me let me say it this way. the oil mineral rights is just not a black issue. It's a issue that people, many people lost their land by people abandoned land, moved on, etc. And there's oil there. Um, I I would like to say that this country is very self-sufficient in oil. They don't really have to import. The oil that comes from the wells that we own, they're not sold. It's not sold on the market. They become strategic reserves, and that's controlled by the president. Like this summer, I would probably say he will release the strategic reserves to lower the gas or fuel prices at the pump for people. Uh, you know, whenever the oil, excuse me, whenever the oil markets get high internationally, that's when they release the strategic reserves to keep the prices balanced. So it's a lot of politics there with the oil. And as I said, the lithium is a new issue of politics that I can see rising very soon. Yeah.
When is the book out?
The book will be available this fall. I'd probably say October.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and everything you've said has made me want to go and get the book and read it in its
Thank you.
entirety. So I can't wait for the whole of it to be completed and finished. Is there anything else you want to share with us, Dr. Bernard,
Well,
before we part
I'll
ways?
be in the UK in 2 weeks, for a week. I look forward to being back. I always enjoy it there. And it's been a pleasure talking with you as well.
Where can people? Are you on social media or anything like that? I'm sure people are going to want to tap into
Well,
you or your life
I'm
or
on
follow.
Facebook
Yeah.
and LinkedIn, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, at least they know where it is now. So that's the main thing.
Okay.
Listen, appreciate you. Thank you for your time, sir. Have a good day. All right.
Thank you. Bye bye.